Also wanted me to mention she's been inundated with phone calls asking to vote against certain gun control bills coming out of the Cook County Democrats. And she wants me to reassure you that she does that in every single case. She sees the lobbyists down there almost on a daily basis. And she also has an app for her smartphone. It's a Republican app that's only given out to Republican representatives and state senators. And you can plug in any bill, and it'll tell you a real synopsis of it, and who's supporting it and who's against it. And if it's supported by the ISRA, she votes yes. If it's not, she votes no. So she wanted me to reassure you that she's doing that, and she's fighting the budget battle in our favor, and voting the straight ISRA line on all the gun control bills. And she doesn't mind getting them, all the mail and the phone calls on it, but she just wants to reassure you that she is true blue.
And I don't want to break his brittle bones, so I'll be gentle with him. So today's primary goal is to talk to everyone today about not only the carry conceal, but the alertness to detail, aware your surroundings. But what if someone comes behind you? What if someone comes alongside you? They identify a bolt in your you know, wherever you're carrying your gun. What if they get their hand on your gun while your gun's still in the holster, right? You want to be able to protect your weapon and maintain it in your holster, get that space between you and them, and then draw your weapon and apply deadly force. The use of force continuum, or the use of force, when you go and they attempt to grab your weapon, you are authorized at that point to defend yourself, right? Now, obviously, depending on the situation, depending how far you get them away from you, or if you get them on the ground, you can draw your weapon and put them at hold, right? Put them at hold, call the police, go from there. But if they still want to assault you, and they're going to cause great bodily harm or death, at that time you can use your weapon to defend yourself, okay? But obviously, you guys all sat through my class when I talked about Jeff Cooper's color codes, right? And being in that mindset to where you're aware of your surroundings, right? If you're always aware of your surroundings, will they ever get within arm's reach of you? Will they ever be able to get within control of your weapon? The answer is no, right? So we talked about white last time, right? What is white? White is the mindset where you relax, you're daydreaming, right? Those people you see in their cars texting, right? They're walking down the sidewalk with their cell phones, on their cell phones. They're in the white. They're not aware what's going on around them. In the white, they're known as what? Victims, right? So you remember, right? They're known as victims. We don't want to be a victim, do we? The next color in the color code is yellow, right? If I'm in the yellow mindset, I am relaxed, but I am aware. Relaxed simply meaning I'm not paranoid, right? I'm not afraid to find every corner. I'm not afraid of the shadows, but I'm aware. Now, if I'm aware of my surroundings and I see a possible threat, I can be aware of it, right? That was the orange, remember? When you're in the orange, you're alert to a specific situation. At that time, you do the what if, right? What if this person's a threat? Then from there, you can go to the red, right? And the red is where you react. So if we're always in the yellow, we never got to worry about the training that I'm going to show you, right? Okay, so let me bring up my elderly buddy here. So I'm going to show you different ways, and they're very easy, and you don't need any muscle strength whatsoever, okay? It's about leverage. Leverage is how you're going to win. Now, there's always steel against flesh. Who wins every time? Steel, right? So, if I have an assailant, Yeah, please don't hurt me. Just take it easy, please. So, now again, I'm not going to throw him around. I'm just going to show a real quick demonstration of how easily it is to put them in what I call pain compliance, right? Because when your brain registers pain, what does your body tend to do? It tends to want to get away. It tends to want to buckle knees, right? So if someone comes in and this is the assailant, I'm not paying attention. He sees I got a gun through my shirt or my jacket, whatever it might be. He reaches in to grab the gun, right? Most people tend at this point to panic. Now you're in a fight. A lot of law enforcement teach what they call the double hand method. That doesn't work so well. The object is to pin his hand, and I'll show both sides here. Once he has a hold of the gun, you pin his hand and push him into the gun. This is going to be your hand to do any kind of strikes you might need. But all I got to do at this point, I ain't got to touch him. I'm going to put him on a wrist lock. Watch this. Ready? And he's going to go where I tell him to go. Now, obviously, I use no power, okay, on this side over here. They come in. He grabs the gun. You're going to pin the hand to the gun. At this point, if I turn my body, I'm refraining from letting go. If I turn my body, he's in a wrist lock. And he's going to go wherever I want him to go. And again, I'm being gentle with him. If I were to do full force, he'd go through that wall, wouldn't he? Because if I pin him, I can take him for a walk. He's going to go where I want him to, right? You always want to turn, because see, if I go this way, I'm not locking his wrist, right? Not to mention, if I turn my back to them, now what can they do? Now they have advantage of me, right? So the object is always go towards center body. When you go towards center body, they go with, right? Now, at this point, when I grab and I throw, can I throw them out of the way and then draw my gun, tell them to stop, get on the ground? Right? If they don't, and they come after me still, what am I going to do? Shoot. Put two in their chest, right? Maybe a failure drill, one in the face. Depends on wearing body armor now, right? Okay. Now, same thing. If he comes across, because they can be left hand, right hand, right? People tend to grab with what hands? Their dominant side, right? So if he comes in across this way, and he goes to grab the gun, he's setting himself up to do a face plant in the ground, which I'm not going to do to him, obviously. I'll show this side first. Again, you still want to pin the hand, right? Pinning the hand does what? It traps it, right? Now, at this point, all I simply got to do is come this way and take him for a ride. Because when you pin this hand, where the shoulder goes, if I pin that shoulder, I drop that shoulder, he's going to go for a ride. But at the same time I roll that shoulder, I'm stepping away, and where's he going? On the ground. This time I back off, I draw my weapon and tell him to what? To stop. Don't move, right? And you're going to hold him there until law enforcement shows up. Obviously, they get up to attack you. What are you going to do? You're going to shoot him, right? Pistol whip him. You're going to shoot him. Okay. Now, if he's coming from... I wish I had Tyler here, because I would actually do the full movement, take him to the ground, show you how it's done, but brittle bones, I got to be careful. Okay, same thing. If I'm not paying attention, he comes in with this hand.
Left hand.
Yep. He grabs the gun. Now, what I don't want to do is turn this way, because he can just keep following me, right? So you always want to turn in towards. So he comes from behind. Again, I'm going to pin his hand. Now, all I got to do is use leverage. Is this gun stronger than his hand? Yeah. It is, right? So if I pin his hand and simply turn, I have control of his hand. He's no longer got control of my gun. And really, all I got to do at this point is, so if he grabs the gun, watch, if I come here and just turn and twist, I'm away from him. I got that clearance, right? Because they can't hold on to something when it's stronger than they are. That leverage thing, right? So same thing. He comes in, he grabs it. Again, I'm going to pin and just turn my body, step away. Draw my gun. Any strength in that? Now, obviously, with me, younger, training, he's going to the ground. And the gun stays in the holster. But again, you got someone that's not as strong, you can still turn away. They cannot hold on to that gun because of leverage. All right, other hand, he grabs it. He comes across, right? Now again, from here, do I want to go this way into him? No. I don't, right? So from here, same thing. All I got to do is rotate and turn. Because if I grab his hand, he can't let go at this point. If I just turn viciously, I draw that gun, where's he going to go? He's either going to go to the ground and wait for the police, or what? 2 rounds of the chest, right? Very, very, very easy. Now,
how would you know which hand he's grabbing you with if he's from behind? Is that just a...
Yeah, you ask him. Because what happens is, no matter what hand, so if he comes across and grabs this way, okay, most people when they grab a gun, they want to grab this like that, right? If he comes across this way, again, when I pin, notice I always look, because I can see which one he has. Not to mention, when they come in to grab the gun, they're coming within your peripheral vision. So you can see which hand they have, what side of the body that they're on. And again, at this point, all I got to do is, if I just turn, he can't hold on to it, right? If I turn this way, can he hold on? He can't go anywhere, right? I still have that time to get away. The important thing is to, when I say pin their hand to it, pin their hand to it. You really got to be aggressive with that. Now, I wish I had someone I could take down on the ground to really show you how it works. But if anyone wants to volunteer to go down on the ground, I'll be more than happy to demonstrate.
So it seems like I like the question because we're sitting there thinking, well, how the heck do we know which hand it is? But I think the point you would make is it's all about practice, right? So I mean, that's what we do in the military. If we had just watch it once, we'll never know what that hand is. But if we practice, you're going to feel that hand. You're going to know what that hand feels like, whether they're on their left hand or right hand, and how to get to you. So you got to practice this to actually.
Absolutely, and it really is, as long as you don't turn into them. Because so if I grab and I go to turn and I see that's them, I'm going to go the other way and just kind of react to my original movement, right? But everything you do has to be with aggression. Because if I just do it nice and light, what's going to happen? They're going to follow you around. They're probably going to get the gun out of the holster because most carry concealed holsters don't have any other retention other than what? The holster itself, right? There's no bails, no snaps, no Velcro. So if they do get their hand on it, you have to react very quickly. If you don't act quickly, they're going to get the gun out. Now, if they get the gun out, what happens? Yeah, shoot with the other gun. I like what you think, Cliff. The object is, obviously, is to get that gun back, right? If you don't get the gun back, they're going to use it against you. Come on real quick again. So again, I'm not going to put them in any kind of pain, maybe a little bit, but.
I heard he likes it.
So the object is, if you make a favor, keep your fingers down here and don't put it inside the trigger guard, okay? I'll show you why here in a minute. Okay. So again, let's just say, because if they get the gun, am I going to be within close proximity of them? I am, right? You're going to be close enough that you can probably react to it. Now, the biggest thing to remember is this. If you got a bad guy, right? They got this gun pointed at you. Bad guys like to do what? Intimidate. They like to intimidate. If he had intent to use this gun, right, he would have used it already. Most of them use it to what? Intimidate. So again, he's got this gun. If you act as which this is hard for me to do, but you act like a victim, right? Let them think that there's fear. And if they have a gun pointed at you, I can look, it's easy just to take that gun, snatch that gun, I got that gun, you blink your eye, I got it, right? Now at this point, I can put him to the ground or simply shoot him. Now, here's what happens. If his finger would have been in the trigger, I'm going to go very slow, okay? Here's all I did. At this point, I grabbed the top of that slide, right? As I turn this way, in case it does go, chances are it won't because it's being too quick. As I rotate this gun towards him, again, I'm using leverage, right? At this point, his finger is where? It's literally snapped, right? Now, once I rotated it and I got control of the gun, I chopped his wrist to clear it from the gun. Now his bones have snapped, his finger's hanging off a tendon. As I rip the gun back, his finger goes bloop, right between my feet. And I can guarantee he is on his knees because your body tends to follow pain, right? So the second I turned that gun and snapped his finger, he's already on his knees in pain compliance. And the gun comes away from him. All right?
And you hit the nerve on top.
Absolutely. Now, yeah, keep it down there. But I give this one, you can keep on the trigger. That's fine. You can keep the trigger. Now, if they're up close and personal, right? Do they like to do this? Some, yeah, turn to so everyone can see. If they're like this, they can see, right? Again, a very quick, smooth movement. I make one turn, I control. I guarantee he feels this, okay? I can now, and I'm not doing it very hard. Now I take this, I rotate it out. Is he still stuck? What do I have? Right? So once I take the gun, at this point, can I push him away from me very hard, and I have what? I have control of the weapon, right? It takes no strength. It takes no, all I'm doing from here is just rotating this way. Wrapping the arm up and around, locking that wrist into a wrist lock, and then bringing my arm up. The gun goes off, what's going to happen? Nothing, right? Now, obviously, if I pull up really hard, it's going to snap. So I'm being very easy with him. But notice he's on his toes. Your body follows the pain, right? Body follows pain. But I can still take control of this gun, but I still got him, don't I? Right? Can I knock him out with it?
Yeah, do it.
I don't like it. So, again, if they're up close and personal, it's very easy to do. Now, he comes from behind, right? I'm at the ATM machine. Puts it in my back. Oh. Now, he says, give me your money, right? The object is what? Show fear, right? Show cooperation. Now, at this point, I don't want to turn this way because I'm turning into him, right? So, now, if for some chance you do, that's okay because it's a very easy move. But ideally, you want to come this way and get that gun out of the way and take control here, right? What's open? A lot of things are open, right? A lot. But do I have control of this wrist? Not the gun, right? But it's easy to control because where the wrist goes, the body follows, right? And I have full control of him and the gun. And again, it takes no strength. It's joint manipulation. It's very easy to do. Now, let's say I do turn into him, right? Now, as I come this way, again, I'm still going to come this way. What's my arm doing with that weapon?
Get it off.
Getting out of the way, right? Now, I'm going to drive straight through him. When I drive straight through him, as I come here, boom, you strike. Trust me, he will go to the ground. Now, when he goes to the ground, what am I controlling? I'm still controlling that gun, right? Can you lay down?
You can lay down, we can't get off.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got your,
Just lay down?
yeah. Okay, so here he is. So just go this way. Now I take him down. He goes to the ground, right? Go ahead. All right. And he's going to go straight to his back. I'm still going to control this now, right? At this point, I got to come in and lock him in this way. Notice what happens here. He's in an elbow lock, right? I can drive this down and still drive. I still got control. Once I lock this in, can I have control of the gun? I can take control of the gun, right? And he's still going to be on the ground. I can step off and keep him on the ground, right? You got your alert button. Okay, same thing. So that time you grab with this one, right? That's me grab with this one. Same thing. All I'm going to do at the same time, use leverage, right? I'm going to pin that hand. All I got to do is turn away from him, and he has no control of that gun. But notice what I'm controlling. His wrist, right? I'm not applying much pressure but he's still bending over because why? Pain compliance, right? He's got nowhere else to go. And it really takes Now, I could also do this. I could pin them, throw them away, right? Still got control. That took no what? No strength. A lot of technique, a lot of things you want to do, especially when they're younger, bigger, better than you, right? The object is to use their strength against them. Use their energy against them. Here's an example. He goes to push my shoulder, right? Now, if I give resistance, who's going to win? The bigger, stronger person, right? But if he goes to push, and there's no resistance, where's he going to go? Right? Same thing. If I give him an arm, he grabs my arm, he pulls, who's going to win? The stronger person, right? But if I give him nothing to resist, and it goes limp, he's got nothing, right? It's going to be pushed away. So if I'm pushing him, and he's pushing me, and he just gives that shoulder away, what happens to my energy? Just redirect it. It doesn't take strength, it doesn't take power. Very easy to do. Anyone want to come up here and try it? You're good. Like I said, my younger... I was hoping to bring Tyler up here because I can throw him around like a rag doll and really go more detail and do full force. It's more impressive when you see someone's feet fly up in the air and then go to the ground and they're locked up. But obviously, I can't do that. I was going to use Mr. UPS here, but he's got his rope on, so. Do I have any questions pertaining to self-defense of weapon in your holster? Any questions at all?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
All right. The techniques look great. They look good, but it takes practice to do these things, correct?
Yes.
And to do them correctly.
Yes. The biggest thing to remember is this. It doesn't, I mean, if you just remember to pin and turn. When you pin and turn you turn in towards the wrist so you break the wrist, they will let go. At the same time, you're getting that distance between you and them to draw that weapon and to get him on the ground. It's not rocket science. It's not a martial arts where you're learning a kata. It's just a matter of pinning their wrist and turning your body. Because your body weight is going to give you the leverage and the strength that you need. You're not using muscle. You're using your body weight to lock that wrist in. Okay? But you're right, it does take practice. Everything takes practice, right? It has to be muscle memory, right? How do we build muscle memory? Repetition, right? Doing the same thing, the same way, every time with proper technique. You know how many times it takes minimum to build a basic muscle memory? Minimum. 500. 500 consecutive times doing the same thing, the same way, every time. That's a lot, isn't it? And it doesn't mean, I'm going to do 10 today, I'll do 20 tomorrow. No, it's 500 straight. It takes time, right? So whatever holster you decide you're going to carry. Now, obviously, if I had it inside the pants holster, would it work as well? Sure it will. You're still pinning their hand against that gun, right? And all you're doing is turning your body to the point to where you bend their wrist. When you bend the wrist, the fingers tend to do what? Let go, right? Get that distance, draw that weapon. A lot of you probably went to carry conceal and you learned how to draw a holster, right? There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, but a cat still tastes like cat, right? It's the same thing with drawing from a holster. You can get 20 different instructors out here, and they'll show you 20 different ways to draw from a holster. But in a carry conceal type environment, we want to keep this weapon close to where? Close to our body, right? Close to our workspace. When you draw from a holster, again, depending on how much space is available, you can bring that weapon straight out to a full presentation, right? But if they're up close and personal, the proper draw, there's 4 steps in it, right? So the 4 steps when you talk about a draw are going to be from the holster. You unsecure the holster if you have a securable holster. You bring that weapon straight up across your body. Now notice where my trigger finger is, right? From this position, I'm going to cant that gun about a ¼ angle, put the magazine well into my rib cage. Can I shoot from here? Right? External safety comes off. Can I shoot from here? The object is, yes, you can. And most carry conceal environments are how many feet? 3 to 6, right? Maybe 9, maybe that's really stretching it. But 3 to 6. I got a training video. 2 gangbangers go into an elevator. They don't know each other. They recognize each other and realize they're not on the same team. Different gangbangers, right? They both draw guns. This is an elevator now. They both draw guns and shoot at each other. They both have Glocks. They hold, what, 15 to 17, depending on the model. Empty their guns. The doors opened. They ran out. Nobody was shot, right? Nobody was shot.
I couldn't hear for a month.
So when you start talking about practice drawing in close quarter, and if you can't get that person off of you far enough, like I was able to, you could still shoot from right here and knock that assailant out, right? So here's what I'm talking about. A lot of people watch TV and they watch the speed shooters, right? Speed shooters do what they call a direct draw. The hole from a holster is actually open, and they bring that gun straight out, right? And they practice it. People see it on TV. Straight out, right? It's very quick. They come out, straight out. The problem with that is if I keep drawing that way and drawing that way and drawing that way, I'm building a what? A muscle memory. Remember last time I talked to you about your sympathetic nervous system? What happens in that high stress? Your midbrain takes control of your forebrain. Your forebrain is your conscious thought, right? Cognitive thinking. You're not thinking anymore because your midbrain took over. Where's your midbrain stored? Muscle memory. You're going to react how you train. So if I always train to do a direct draw, a speed draw, and not the proper draw, what's going to happen in a gunfight? You're going to give the assailant the gun. Here's an example. I'll use your real quick. So if he's the bad guy, he's the assailant, right? And I managed to get my gun out of the holster. I got him off my gun, but he's too close for me to do a 2-hand draw, right? Now, if I panic, because people will panic, right? And I do a direct draw out of fear, oh! I'm not completely fully extended yet because I'm doing a direct draw, right? Now, let's say he's this close, I'm panicked, I draw my gun, muscle memory, what happened? Right? Turn this way. Same thing. If he's this close to me, again, if I draw my weapon in a panic, I do my direct draw, I practice, they can grab the gun, right? Or it might hit his chest and I have no room to fully extend. But if I do my real draw and he comes to get me, he gets my gun, what just happened?
Face shot.
Right? Is he going down? Absolutely. All right. Any other questions? Well, I started out in the military. I went into special operations, counterterrorism for the Marine Corps. I learned a lot of stuff there. Before I got out of the military for 5 years, I was the chief instructor for Special Missions Branch. I trained all special operations for deployment training. Then I became a law enforcement trainer for Homeland Security, and I trained them as well. So that's where most of it stems from. Because obviously everything we do is close quarter, so we have to be able to defend ourselves and defend our weapons and our holsters. Any other questions?
If you have 2 guys and can you take, and they're not on top of each other, one guy is back.
Always take the closest threat.
You grab that first guy and use him as a
shield? You could. Yeah. If I had 2 guys, one guy has my holster, and I get him away from my holster, whoever's closest, I'm shooting first.
Well, but say he's got the gun out already.
Oh, if he got your gun,
Yeah.
and there's two of them, and you get this guy in control, you got to keep an eye on that guy because he could sweep in seconds notice. When you're talking about 2-on-1, good luck with that. You know, I mean, at the point of you starting training now, I can tell you it's probably not going to happen. Could I take on 2 guys? Possibly. But again, you're looking at a lot more training, right? And threats are based on perception, aren't they? But perception, everyone has perception, right? The problem with perception is perception's based on training and experience. What you perceive to be a threat, what I perceive to be a threat, will be 2 different things. Right? So, in that situation, you got 2 threats coming at you, right? That's gonna take a lot for you.
Yeah, but usually the second guy would be away from him. Wouldn't be right on top of him.
Possibly.
Chance.
Now, if you're in Chicago, then they're cowards. When you get one down, the other one runs.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works. They like to come in by numbers, but once you start shooting or start beating them up, they run. They don't back their buddies up anymore.
You pretty much answered it.
Okay.
Why don't you tell a story about the lady with the camera? I love that, with the pictures of the security guard who was in the back of the line. You don't remember that one?
Oh yeah, that's attention to detail. That's being in the yellow, right?
And how it ended up was kind of cute, but maybe you don't want to go into...
Well, I will, but let me do questions about the holster retention and about the defense of the weapon first, and then I'll go to that.
My hands aren't big enough to go around your wrist.
They don't have to go around. All you have to do is pin the hand to the gun.
Okay, to go for the
That's
hand
it.
as opposed to the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, that's all you got to do. Okay. And here, come here a minute.
You're in trouble, Nicky. Go, Nicky.
Okay, this is a paddle holster.
Okay.
So just throw it in your left hand. So it doesn't matter what you're wearing, and don't worry, I won't pull down on the gun. So let me show you how this works, okay? Now, I have the gun, right? I'm going to hold on to this gun. Now, you're going to just take your hand, now, right here. Now, I want you to push my hand into your body, into your body. Now, all I want you to do is turn around and walk that way. Fast, fast. All right, you're good. When you turn, just do an immediate turn. Automatically, my wrist did this. When you walked, I was paying compliance.
Yeah.
See? That easy. And it was nice. I liked that you grabbed that hand and you had a hold of it, right? And you didn't let it go. That's good. That's what you want to do. You can't take it easy. As you can see, she took me where? To the ground, right? Now, granted, I was expecting it, but who doesn't expect it?
The bad guy.
The bad guy, right? So now you're one up on them because they're not expecting that to happen. Now, I went down quick and hard because I didn't want to feel pain, right? But bad guys, they're not going to know what's going to happen to them. You have to react instantly.
Would she have had a little more advantage being shorter, with you being taller?
Not necessarily.
Leverage on you?
Not necessarily. No. Mm-mm.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, one thing that the criminals are not expecting is for you not to act like a victim. So
Correct.
we have the element of surprise on our side. Which you
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to react right now. You don't react right now, you just lost the what? The advantage, right? All right, any other questions? I know we're getting close to the time. Any other questions for me? All right, I got 5 minutes. Oh, go ahead.
Is that going to work on somebody that's really high on some of these drugs, you know, the pain? Because a lot of it is, you know, numbing the pain, right?
Oh, absolutely. Bottom line is this. If you get someone, first of all, if they're on any kind of PCP or, you know, or any of the the drugs that give them strength, right? You're going to know they're on that. They're going to make it crystal clear to you. They are not quiet people. You're going to have fair warning, and you're going to know to stay away from them. No one on PCP or any type of other drugs is going to come up to you and try and sneak up on you and grab that gun. It's not going to happen. Now, the person you got to worry about is the person that knows you got a gun that wants to take your gun from you, right? But they're not going to come up to you and start talking, confronting you, and say, I want your gun, right?
Right.
But you got someone that's on drugs, they're going to act what? They're going to act loopy, they're going to act crazy. So my advice is stay away. Right? Okay. Any other questions? We're good?
Question. Just what he was talking about. So you got some that's loopy on drugs, jacked up, whatever the hell.
Yep.
Is it going to make a damn bit of difference? Once you break their wrist, their hand's going to be useless anyway.
Well, here's what happens. You're not really, paying compliance is nice, right? But again, if they have a hold of my gun, and I pin them to it, and I throw them off of me, there is a distance where I can draw my gun and stop them. Whether they're in pain or not makes no difference. The object is to get them away from you. Get them in that 4 to 6 feet away, which gives you that reactionary gap to where you can draw that weapon and go after that person, right? Now I can tell you someone on drugs I know is on drugs, and they're acting all loopy, and they grab my gun, I throw them off my gun, they're getting 2 rounds to the chest. Because like you said, if they're on drugs, they feel no pain, you get them off of you, chances are they're going to what?
Charge you.
They're going to charge, you're going to come right back after you, right? Every time. Every time.
Does that, do you recommend then that your concealed carry be on one side or the other?
On your person, I can tell you, here's my personal opinion. With carry conceal, I am about on my person. I don't believe about one's person or about a person in a car. I believe on your person. And I don't believe in mostly concealed. I believe in fully concealed. Because if you're mostly concealed, they know you got a gun. One of 2 things are going to happen. They're going to shoot you first because you're a threat. They're going to probably take your gun and rob the place you're in. Or they might say, you know what, they got a gun, I think I'm going to go somewhere else and rob, right? Who wants to take that chance? I don't want to take that chance. So you want to stay fully concealed. Me personally, I am a kidney carrier. I carry on my kidney. Whether it be inside the pants, outside the pants, I'm a kidney carrier. And I carry it right above my wallet. Kidney carry is a very comfortable place to put it. It's easily accessible, comes out quick. But a bad guy says, give me your wallet. Sure. Here's my wallet. Right? And I draw the weapon. That just happened recently, just over the winter. I think it was December. An off-duty Chicago police officer was carrying on his kidney, his off-duty gun. Some dummy decided to rob him at a gas station at gunpoint, asked for his wallet. Guess what he did? Drew his gun, put 2 shots in his face. It works. I prefer kidney.
So it doesn't have to be on the side like that.
Side carry, obviously, is the best place for it, right? But the problem is it's not a good place for carry concealed because you bump into things, right? Not to mention, when you have a carry concealed gun on the hip, it tends to show a bulge. And bulges tend to lead people to what? Identify there's something not right about you, there's a bulge there, it could be a what? Could be a gun, right? Now, obviously, if it's as old as my buddy back here, it could be a pacemaker, right?
What do you do in a car? When you're in your car? You still carry kidney?
I generally do. Depending where I'm at, I will. But ideally, when you have something on your kidney or even on anywhere on your waist, you sit down in a vehicle, you put a seatbelt on, you're restricted. You're restricted. Now, I know me as a left-hand shooter, if I'm on the driver's side, someone comes to the window, can I get my gun and point it at them? I can't, right? So as a left-hand person, I can't shoot out my window. What a lot of people tend to do is they buy these holsters that mount under the dash between your legs. When you get in the vehicle, out of the holster, slide it in. When you get out of the vehicle, back out, back in your holster. There's a lot of different ones out there. People put them in their glove compartments, put them in their consoles. But once you get out of the vehicle, because in the vehicle you want it readily accessible, right? Now I guarantee if it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm on 130th coming off 94, I don't want it in my holster, do I? Right? So if you're going somewhere, like especially if you're traveling cross country, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you stop at a rest stop, where might you want that gun? Readily accessible, right? And obviously, like you say, in a holster, locked in a seatbelt on a car is not a good place for it.
What's wrong with 94 and 103rd? I'm there every day.
130th? Oh, yeah. I used to be there every day, too. Yeah, that's a nice place, isn't it?
Very scenic. I'm not trying to prolong this. You shove the guy away, and if he doesn't turn quick enough, you're going to nail him maybe at 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock face on. Is that going to be a legal problem? I'm not trying to prolong this.
No. The second they went for your weapon, and you were fighting for your weapon, deadly force is authorized. Okay? Now, again, I don't know of anywhere where you're going to go where there's not witnesses. Pretty much anywhere you go in the United States, there's what? Cameras, or some pimple-faced kid with the camera, or witnesses in the sidewalk, or whatever. The only way you're going to not have witnesses is in your own home. Out in the streets, out in the sidewalks, because businesses have what? Security cameras, perimeter cameras. Don't think the police don't go to them, because they do. And hopefully they'll pull it up on the camera. They see you fighting for your gun. You push a guy off you, and he's only 4 feet away, and you draw your gun, and they're coming at you, and you shoot them, right? Now, hopefully you're a good shot, and you stop that threat, and they can't testify against you. Right? What's that? Well, you got the civil side, but they probably can do that.
What are your thoughts on appendix carry? Appendix carry?
Appendix carry? It's whatever's comfortable for you. I have a good friend of mine, has shoulder surgery. He can't reach anywhere in this area, nowhere. So he's forced to carry it in the front. It says the only problem he has with it is when he sits down, it digs in his leg. But again, it's dependent on what size firearm you carry as well. What's that? Who said something over here? I heard something. Oh, it was him? So, if you guys don't know, he used to be my ROTC instructor way back long time ago.
I'm just going to say, don't carry a blunt line. Special.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right. Any other questions?
If you're talking about fully concealed is the best way to go.
Yes.
It brings into question the size of the weapon that
It does.
you're going to have. So what do you think for the average person who wants to carry?
Okay, here's my answer to that. You want to carry what fits your hands. You want to carry what fits you, right? Semi-automatic to me is a good choice, but someone who doesn't shoot a lot or have the experience of shooting a semi-automatic should not carry one, because there's 4 malfunctions that can occur in a semi-automatic, and a lot of it can be caused by improper grip. If your wrist is too loose, it gets caught up in clothing. A lot of things can happen with it, right? With a revolver, if you get a misfire, what do? You pull the trigger again. It's the original point-click interface, right? And they sell titanium, little snub nubs. They're very, very light, very, very compact. They're very easy to use. So again, based on your experience and how well of a shooter you are and how well you can clear malfunction, depends on what I think you should carry. You want to add on to that, Dave?
I started carrying full-size Glock, and if that's what you want to do, Galco makes a deep concealed holster will go under your shirt.
Yeah.
You won't see it. I carry full-size all the time now.
Yep. And Dave's got the top of girth to help camouflage it very well, so it works even better.
Thank you. I'll remember that.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Wherever you live.
Yes, make 847.
All right. We're
Perfect.
good on time.
Distribute it out. I'm gonna bring the coffee, it's been a long night and a long weekend.
One campaign.
It's a long campaign, right? Exactly. So, tomorrow we're gonna have a campaign fundraiser, okay? And I've been doing a lot of digging, like I did back in 2012, about the justification for running for this office. And over the last, since 2003, it's been justified that somebody should have somebody should have stepped up to run for this office long ago. Because back in 2003, Will County was one of the first 5 counties in the state of Illinois approved for an e-file pilot project. And that being said, we should have done something then, which we haven't, and we still have done nothing to bring our court system back to the bring our court system to the 21st century. So the last 2-3 nights, I've done a lot of research and I've documented it. I put a lot of the things on the website. I just published a website, and it says a lot of very definitive information, tying things to our Illinois state court system, the Supreme Court, that speaks to the fact that Will County is so behind. We are the 4th largest county in Illinois, and we are the most behind when it comes to electronic filing, okay? Second of all, so the e-file component for our Will County court system is one thing. The second part is that we are so overcrowded in our court system right now. The state of Illinois has approved a certain number of court judges per capita. For every 35,000 people in this county, we are entitled to 1 judge, okay? So there are 2 things that have to happen. We have to have the courtroom for those judges, and we have to have, adequate systems in place to accommodate those judges. Right now, we have a court system problem. We don't have enough courtrooms, and we're highly inefficient with our e-file structure. And we are the last county in the state in the e-file pilot program, and we are still stuck in the e-file pilot program. So the reason why I'm saying that, I wanted to lay the groundwork, and I wanted to tell you that my background is in IT and engineering and blah, blah, blah. I started out, I graduated from university. I can give you my full resume. I'd love to share that with you if you look at my website and stuff like that, which is great. But you can find that all online if I distribute the file. But we need to do something in this county. We need to step up, find somebody else other than like a crony who is appointed by another crony to modernize our court system. So I'm going to flip that story, and I hope you can vote for me and show up for my fundraiser tomorrow. It would be absolutely awesome, because I've been speaking to you guys for like the last 5-6 years, 4 years, at least 4 years, right? And I've come to these meetings, and the reason why I come to these meetings is I'm a proud supporter of the Second Amendment rights. And the reason why I'm stepping up again, and I want to tell you about a story, a personal story. I'm a landlord, I own property. And the reason why I'm a very, very staunch supporter of the Second Amendment is that I want to say about 8 years ago, I had a tenant. Well, we used to buy these properties, and we had a lot of people, and then we had to, filter through a lot of garbage in these apartments. We had to get a lot of people. Drug dealers, crack whores, you name it. All kinds of really, really bad people. There are people out there like presenting themselves as normal, drug dealers and the like, right? That really, really are bad people, okay? And that's who we're really trying to defend ourselves against, okay? So the story is about Mr. McNamara, and I remember his name like it was yesterday. I'm driving in Bolingbrook, and I'm going to look at a house to show whatever, and I get a call from him, and this is a man that I was evicting, okay? He owed me $2,500. And he said, you blah, 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 blah. If you try to go to court on me, he says, he says, I know where you live, and I'm gonna come after you. I know where you live. And I was like, my blood pressure was like up here, right? So I had to pull my car aside, and I said, you SOB. I said, if you come to my house, I said, I have an AR-15 waiting for you. I said, you come to my house, you SOB, you're going to meet my little friend, okay? And he could have came to the house. The guy drove a hearse. Like, the guy was like a weirdo, whack job. So everybody wants to hear a story, and that is my story, and that's why I support the Second Amendment. I've been a lifelong Republican. I've voted Republican all my life. I'm a very, very hard supporter of the Second Amendment. And if you guys can make it to my fundraiser tomorrow, I know that my background and the IT whole spiel about the resume, and I know I can do to make a difference. I am not a career politician. This is my first run. This is my second run for the same office, because I know that I can make a difference for you guys. So that being said, hopefully you guys can come to my fundraiser, and I'd like to just...
where it is.
Right? That would help, right? so I have these. It's at Heroes West in Joliet at 1530 Commerce Lane. And it's right off of Hobalt and I-80. So, all right. So that's my spiel, and hopefully you guys can make it. And I'd like to pass this out if you guys...
Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
When is your fundraiser?
Tomorrow night.
What's that?
Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, 5:30 to, and you know it's so funny, like you're like, I gave a speech the last time, and he says, oh wow, I didn't really realize that you, like, you know, there's a reason why you're around. I'm like, yeah, that's why I was running before, like, because we really need to modernize. We're so behind. So, thank you very much.